Aloha, this is Patrick with Recovery Conversations, and you're at my YouTube channel. Thanks for being here. Today I'm going to drop part of a conversation I had with Scott Schroeder, who is the CEO of exclusive Hawaii Rehab over on the Big Island. A couple months ago I had an opportunity to head over to the Big Island and meet with Scott and tour his facility, which is a beautiful place to get well. More recently, Scott agreed to do an interview with me. I've recorded about 20 minutes with him, and there will be more videos dropped in the near future. So in today's section, I posed the question to Scott: if you were to rebuild the rehab industry from the ground up with everything we know now and empirical evidence, what would it look like? So here is an insight into what Scott thinks on that topic. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch up with you right after. Mahalo. If you could build the recovery industry from scratch, what
Mm,
would it look like to you? Because what we inherited was an industry based on pretty old knowledge, experience, research. So what would it look like now if you were to build an industry? What kind of care would people get? What's the timeline or commitment?
yeah, it would definitely be and the evidence is there. It would be a 90-day commitment up front, a 90-day program with a 30-day absolute minimum, across the board. That would be the first and foremost.
Hmm.
I think that also for me, personally, we have to bring, for lack of a better description, a more compelling story for people to choose. And so, I don't think that sitting on your hands in rooms is the answer.
I agree.
I th- that's part of the problem. I think is why in the heck would I give up my previous life, even though it got to a point of it being very painful, if this is my future, sitting on my hands and listening to somebody talk to me all day long. So I think that experiential, nature immersion, experiencing other activities that reignite your soul and your spirit. Seeing an active volcano. That's not everybody can do that, but everybody can walk outside and experience nature
Yeah.
wherever you're at. So I think those nature immersions, we do a lot of hands in the ground planting and seeing things and, bring, farm to the table. I think most people can do that with a garden in their backyard. Those are the things that I think can really, help ignite the spirit, so to speak, um, to have a more compelling story that you would never want to jeopardize or risk. It's almost something that you really treat as sacred and that you just can't let go of that for the even the thought of choosing where you came from. So I think that's the opportunity that we have being in this industry over that 90-day period of time is to show what's already there. They
Hmm.
just haven't.
Right. And unfortunately, the most visible people in the recovery world are the ones entrenched in recovery work. Like
Right.
the people who hit that point where they are engaged in life and hiking, games, biking, whatever it is they do. If those are the activities you engage in to feel alive, you don't show up in the communities where we typically see recovery.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Institutional atmosphere, in my opinion, doesn't work. A hospital is not a place that I want to spend 28 days and go, yeah, I want to do more of this.
yes, and you also alluded to something a little while ago, that period of time when somebody leaves treatment. I was most vulnerable when I left the sober house I was managing and had to be on my own. It's like I went from theoretical world to practical world, and it didn't go well.
Right.
There's this new industry, I guess, or role in the recovery world: recovery coach, peer specialist, those sorts of titles. And I think that from what I can see, that's an integral part of that period where you leave treatment and you're trying to get back on your feet, where you learn to go out hiking and learn to do things instead of stay in recovery mode, right? Get back into living mode. And I think some hand holding in that period is important.
Absolutely.
Yep. I know you've got time commitments ahead of you. Anything else you wanted to say? If you were to meet, if somebody came up to you right now and said, "Man, Scott, I am in trouble with alcohol. I need help. What do I do?" What's your answer?
Yeah, the best thing is somebody willing to receive the help. So I think that if you just reach out and ask for help, that the answers are there. And so if somebody's asking for help, if it's us or somebody else, that's the first step. That is the first step. And yeah, so I think that asking for help is the first step.
Awesome. All right. Anything else before we close? I really
No,
appreciate your time.
much. Like, I really appreciate you, informing people more about, what this journey looks like, and really, you know, enlightening people to, there are more paths, and it's a matter of what really works for each individual.
Hey, this is Patrick. Thanks for taking the time to listen. Scott's been described as controversial in the recovery industry because he pushes the boundaries on what effective treatment is or can be. I, for one, wish there were more like him. If you are somebody who has chosen a different path to recovery or advocate different paths of recovery, I want to know you. Please feel free to reach out so I can shoot some video with you and share your story with others. Mahalo.